Hello everyone, welcome back to GM Games. It is CoachFury here, and we are continuing our Let's Play series with the Charlotte Hornets, with LaMelo Ball, and seeing if we can hopefully continue this great upward trajectory that we've been on this season, in Season 2. Seeing if we can take LaMelo Ball, hopefully, fingers crossed, to his first playoffs. And it's probably fair to say that the reason why this team has been performing very well is not necessarily because of LaMelo Ball, who actually is developing into a very nice player. As we can probably see, if I actually click the right button and go to him, he's developing into a very good prospect, and I'm expecting him to completely explode next season in terms of stats and things, because it is bubbling a little bit for him. But we're being driven by a range of different players, and that's the fantastic thing about this team now, is that it's not just one player who's the driving force, the key offensive threat. We have Elfrid Payton, who's looking like a decent point guard, signing for us on a one-year deal. But, the front court has definitely been helping out. Hayward's been putting up solid numbers. The Bridges brothers off the bench have been massive for us. I can't understate that enough, how important it is to have a good six-man who can come in and just get scoring for you. But, our front court has been looking good. I mean, we've got guys who are putting up roughly about 14, 15 points all over the place. So, we're in good shape. We're just approaching nearly the end of January now. We're going to get ourselves sort of immediately forward, hopefully to the trade deadline, and we'll then probably consider putting guys on the trade block and such, and see what offers are out there. And we've got some I think some big decisions to make in terms of this team and what we want to do for the rest of the season. Obviously, we are, I think, 35 and 14 or so, 35, 33 and 15 now. So we have some big decisions, I think, in terms of what we do. Gordon Hayward is out for a period of time, which means that Porter Jr. will come back in. He had a phenomenal couple of months with us in the last episode. He really staked his claim for the starting position, which we thoroughly gave him. But, we still want to pursue with Miles, and it's working actually not too bad in that sense, because we do have injuries and such, so we can move guys around. The other Bridges brother is back in now as well, so we will certainly look to make some slight adjustments here to this sub-matrix and get the shape back to what we would kind of expect. So we're going to move ourselves forward, as I said, hopefully to the 1st of February, week before the trade deadline, and we're going to do a little bit of a recap and question ourselves as to what we do really. So we suffer a loss there to Memphis. That's a tough one to take, and a loss to Washington. Oh, that's looking a bit brutal for us. And we suffer yet another injury. The injuries in this game, seriously, sometimes just really frustrate me, because they're just like, I don't mind injuries occasionally, but getting it this regularly kind of means that you need to run like almost a 12-man decent rotation to make sure it works. So Miles is out, which means that probably Bridges will come in, other Bridges brother will come in, and we'll need to adjust this around quite a bit now. Gallinari will come in there, and that's how we'll run, I think. So the other Bridges will cover most of the rotation. Payton will have to play serious minutes for the moment, but that's okay, because we've only got to go a couple of days, and then we'll readjust and reassess. So we get a win there against Dallas. That's good. We stop the losing trend, but we get ourselves to a week before the deadline. So let's take a little look at our team and what questions we want to ask ourselves. So immediately, first thing that springs to mind is that we have Elfrid Payton, who's on an 11 million expiring deal. The question we need to ask ourselves is, do we want to try and trade him and that 11 million of salary to try and see whether we can get someone maybe a bit longer term? My initial thought is probably not. I'm pretty comfortable with him. He's putting up decent numbers for us. He's kind of exactly what we need at this stage. I'm not quite comfortable yet, I have to say, in giving LaMelo Ball the complete reins of this offense again from last season. Given the fact that we've been performing so well, and LaMelo is still developing, look at that. That's looking much better now. 70 passing, 85 ball handling, versus Elfrid Payton 75, 86. So my thought is with this is that Payton is probably going to be here for the rest of the season, unless we get something massive. Unless someone comes and offers us a huge deal for him, I don't see that happening. And then next season, Payton's $11 million could probably go into another position, because I think at that point LaMelo will be ready to take the reins. We then probably will need to get a shooting guard in of some sort, and we'll go from there. So in terms of other expiring contracts that we need to consider, we have the Bridges brothers. So we have Mikal Bridges, who, to be honest with you, I'm pretty open in trading. I know he's been shooting exceptionally for us this year, and it's been really handy. But, you know, he's 5 million. I mean, are we going to try and extend him? In terms of the extension he's looking for, 16 million to me sounds like a bit of a stretch for him. That's 3 times what his salary is now. I'm conscious that obviously that is because he's coming to the end of his rookie deal. So I think he would be a, you know, we would have bird rights on him. We'd be able to probably extend a qualifying offer for him in the off season. So we probably, whilst we'll look to try and trade him and see what's available, not necessarily too worried if we don't, because we've got additional things to try and retain him if we want to in the off season. Miles Bridges is not going anywhere, to be perfectly honest with you. His numbers have just been insane. He's a perfect 6-man. How much do you want to extend? That's the question. So he wants 19 million. So to me, that's starter level money that we'll have to consider here. And whether we extend him or not, I'm not sure, but I don't think we will. That's a bit too much money. Again, we have his bird rights. We probably have him under a restricted free agency, so we'll probably keep him. But we'll shop him around, I think. I know I said at the beginning of this, he's not going anywhere, but we'll shop him around. I mean, you always shop the expiring guys around, you know, especially if they put up good numbers, because someone might just gamble and say, he's restricted, I'll happily offer you a silly package for him. So we will shop him, but chances are he won't go anywhere. So then we move on to the big question, really, I think we have to answer ourselves, and that is Michael Porter Jr. He is having a phenomenal season, in my opinion. I mean, the numbers don't really give it too much justice because he has played a fair bit off the bench, but he's putting up good numbers. I honestly can see this guy becoming a bit of a star for us. Again, I believe he's coming off his rookie deal, so we would have restricted agent rights. He wants 21 million to re-sign. I mean, that's pretty steep. It is pretty steep. It does mean that would kill into some of our cap. That's a question I'm still mulling with, and we'll probably come back to in a minute. Let's move on to PJ Washington then and see what we think about him. So Washington's an interesting one for us. I think I said at the beginning of an episode a couple of versions ago. He's got 2 years on his deal. He's still got some development potential. His actual shooting numbers have come up massively. All-round game is pretty consistent and pretty good. I do think he is a good trade candidate, mainly because he's not really going to get the starting job, let's be honest, over the likes of Porter, Miles, and co. I think he is a nice little trade candidate for us. He's obviously not going to be starting at centre because Onyenko is clearly penned that down. He's just the exact type of centre I would want in any team. His rebounding's pretty good. His ability's good. He blocks shots. He gets steals. He does everything. So I think he's a good one for us to shop around and see what's available. The Martin brothers are definitely going to be shopped around, just if we can get anything for them. Same with McDaniels. I think he's one that we'll see what's available for him. He's not really played a great deal. He's not going to crack our rotation. Carey, we've got a couple of years left of him. I'm okay with him. I quite like his defensive ability. He's cheap. He's a nice rotation guy if we ever need to play him. Brown is obviously going to just stay in the D League and we'll just keep riding him for a bit. I just want to see if he develops. So, in short, Payton's probably not going to be moved, but we're going to shop the Bridges brothers, we're going to shop Porter, we're going to shop Washington, the Martin brothers, and McDaniels, and see roughly what we can get out there. So, we'll kind of start with that then and see what happens. We'll start with the first Bridges brother because he's top of our list. See if we get any trade offers for this guy. If not, then we'll obviously, as I said, we'll just progress and we won't necessarily look at moving him. I'm not worried if we don't get any deal for him, to be honest. I think I missed off Denver there. We obviously will check with every team as you do. I mean, the 5 million salary, someone might buy it, as I said, and offer us something a bit a bit crazy for him. Maybe we're a little bit early in the trade cycle, possibly, but you know, we'll go through a day at a time, and we'll just keep ourselves going, and then not offering him around. We won't actively put him on the trade block though, because I don't necessarily want to get him aggravated. Because you know, if we do get to a situation where we can retain him, we probably would. So they are offering, the Spurs are offering Vassell, who I'm guessing. No, I'm not interested in that deal. Not giving up our first round pick as well. I mean, that seems like a bit of suicide for us, to be honest. Granted, we will probably be a playoff team, but still don't necessarily want to go down that path at this moment in time. Okay, so first Bridges brother, not much going around for him. I won't shop the Martin and McDaniels guys at this moment in time. We'll do that on the deadline, I think. But Washington is probably the other one I think we might be able to get something for if someone does. He's got 2 years on his deal, which is probably a key thing to say. That he obviously, if the team gets him, they're obviously going to retain him for at least this season and next season, and then obviously he then goes into sort of the restricted free agent. So someone might think, yeah, we'll have him. He's underrated, he's undervalued, and might offer us something for him. So the only one that I'm going to quickly shop on today's episode is going to probably be Porter Jr. I just want to see what's out there for him, and then we'll move on to a couple of days, see how the games go, see if we get any other further offers. We might throw a couple of these other guys on the trade block because they're not really playing for us. But you know, first of all, I just want to see what we can get maybe for Porter Jr. Someone might buy at him at this stage. Check with the Bulls as well. I know I say this on every Let's Play I have of this. Yeah, I'm not taking Hayes over Porter Jr. That's suicide. It'd be nice in the next version of this game if they just have the get offer button. It just gets you offers for every single team, rather than having to go down and continuously click the get offer button for every team. It's a little bit frustrating, and it takes a bit of time, to be honest. It'd be nice if it was a bit more like OOTP, where you can literally hit the get offer button and you get every single offer that you possibly could get for that player, whatever package they come to. So nobody, surprisingly, is interested in Porter Jr. I'm guessing probably because he's expiring. So that ends that. We will put some guys on the trade block though. I do want to see what we can get for Carey. I'll throw Washington on the trade block actually. McDaniels. The Martin brothers we're not going to put on the trade block. We'll put yeah, I think that's it. We'll put these guys on. Is there anyone else we want to put on? Let's just double check ourselves. Martin, McDaniels. Oh no, sorry, we are putting the Martin brothers on the block. There we go. So we've got 4 guys on the block. We'll see if we get any offers out for them. We'll go through probably another day or two, and we'll just see pretty much where we stand at that point. So let's get ourselves going. Check our rotation. Actually, that's the first thing we should probably do. So Washington's probable. Gallinari is still out for 5 days or so. Miles is back, so Miles, you can certainly come back into our rotation, and we'll adjust like this. I mean, do we leave Bridges in? Do we take him out? I think we'll put Miles in for Bridges, and then we'll do that. So at least Bridges is coming off the bench. I think he's more efficient that way. Right, let's move forward a day. Go through one more day. We're now 5 days away from the deadline. Let's have a look and see who's available. Actually, that's always a good thing to have a little look at. So there's a fair few players available. anyone of... Oh, Lillard's available. Okay. Probably because he's getting insane amounts of money. Yeah, he's a crazy good scorer. He has the ball magician, bucket getter, and sharpshooter. And he's just an incredible point guard. Okay. Yeah. We might have a look at that. How old is he actually? He's 31, so we would be paying the back end of his contract as he declines. Interesting, both backcourt players are actually available. I guess the Trailblazers are looking at a bit of a rebuild there. DeRozan's available, but I'm not really necessarily interested in DeRozan. I think he's still putting up okay numbers, but he's not really the right type of guy I would want next to Ball anyway. I'd want someone who's got a bit more of a range in terms of his shooting ability. Andrew Wiggins is now at the Knicks and available, but he's just on crazy money for his actual ability. Kevin Love is, back end of his career, but he's look at that. That's terrible defensive ability. He's probably not going to get a move. Drummond's available. Gobert is available again. And Whiteside. And nothing really that I'm desperate to make a move on. It would be if there was an elite shooting guard. I mean, McCollum maybe, but at 30 million, do I really want to pay that for someone? At this point, I'd rather just keep hold of that and draft someone. Yeah, I mean, I think we will we'll move forward another day. Let's have a look. Have we got any games? We do have a game against the Rockets. We'll move forward and then we'll probably end this episode here. And the next episode we'll come back and get through the trade deadline and move on with the season. So we get a nice win there against Houston. So we are in very good shape now for the playoffs, to be honest. We have won 35 games. Probably looking at about 45 to 50 wins to probably take a nice playoff spot, to be honest. We are, second in the conference. The Hawks have been on a rampage and pegged us back a considerable amount. Trae Young is just insane in this game. He really is. See if I can pull up his stats. Here we go. Look at that. 37. That's mental. He's just mental. He's just a crazy good player. So I think we'll end it there. I think next time we will come back and we'll probably do a bit of navigating around the trade market. Bit of a stop-start video I think the next one will be, as we sort of do that and go through all the get offers. I won't put that necessarily on the screen all the time because I don't want us to take that time up, but you can see it's a little bit repetitive having going down and get offers. So that's what we'll do next time. But we're in good shape. We've got guys on the block. We've got options available to us in terms of trying to trade. And I've just noticed there, look, Draymond Green is actually over on the Hawks as well. That was an interesting move by them. So we'll come back next time and we'll get the trade deadline done and see if we can make maybe a move or two to help us in our playoff push.